My name is Aidan, also known as Turtleboy.
He is a senior editor for Turtleboy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtleboy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You did not say that you were going to take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I know
you. People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never going to stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
It's go time. Tick, tick, boom. Bring the noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separating from the boys. Chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out. We get rowdy. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go 8 going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Tick, tick, boom. Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this. So it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go 8 going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Woo! It's go time. Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go 8 going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Woo! It's go time. Tick, tick, boom.
Hey, what's up, Turtle Riders? How's everyone doing out there? Good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host. They call me Uncle Turtleboy around these parts. My real name's Aidan, or at least they used to call me that. I prefer Dr. Turtleboy because if Jill Biden's a doctor, then so am I. You could actually follow me on Twitter. I am at Dr. Turtleboy. I just passed 50,000 followers, believe it or not. So get at me on there. I will never call it X. It's always going to be Twitter to me. So get at me on there at Dr. Turtleboy. I'm halfway to 100,000. So that's pretty cool. I was banned from Twitter for like 2 years. I had a bunch of accounts prior to that. The highest I ever got to, I think, was like 13,000. And they just kept kicking me off. And now Elon owns Twitter, and it has become basically the digital public square. Like people with regular opinions or any opinion really can just stay on there. It's a unique concept where people can just talk freely amongst each other, and grown-ups can decide if they don't like an account, they are not required to follow it. So you can just do that. So that could have been a thing all along. If they didn't kick me off of Twitter, like back in the day, I would be way over 100. Like if I had 112,000 on Facebook until November 28th, 2017. They took that away from me, and I've had to make like 40 pages. I swear to God, I would be close to 1 million on Facebook, close to 1 million. But, you know, life throws you curveballs. It's not as, not easy peasy all the time. This goddamn shit in the corner is going to piss me off. I don't take care of this. Hold on. Nope. Opposite way. We're going to go this way. Okay, but then does it disappear? Does my arm disappear if I do this? Yeah, arm's starting to disappear. We'll go with that. Go with that, and then we'll go with, can we do that? No, wait, what side is it on? This one? Oh, it's on that one. So we'll do this way. We'll do that way, No, it's this side. No, wait, it's that side. That thing's gonna piss me off. Can I go like that? Oh, that works. All right, cool. All right, good. We're good. So anyway, guys, my real name's Aidan, or you can call me, any Uncle Turtle Boy, Dr. Turtle Boy. Some call me Daddy. That's a new thing. Daddy's ready to fuck. I'm in a mood for that tonight. I'll tell you that much. After this Michael Morrissey stuff, man, I am fired up. I'm ready to go. So yeah, you can also, what's it? Oh, Clarence Woods Emerson, my Facebook page. Follow me on there. I'm over 40,000 followers on there, so that's cool. But just follow everywhere. You know the deal. And most importantly, smash that subscribe button, especially if it's your first time. What do we have for 2 subscribers now? I think we passed 48,000 recently. We got to get to 50 because, once you get to 50, you're close to, you're halfway to 100. So we're at 48,127. So keep smashing that subscribe button, guys. Hit the notification bell. You never know when we're going to do some random lives. I don't know. I haven't been to Canton in a while. I feel like I need to get back there. I need to get back in my groove. Obviously, the stay away orders, got to be careful with those. But, Michael Morrissey his office doesn't have a stay away order on me. And quite frankly, I have some questions about this federal probe that's been all over the news. So maybe it's time to show up there and ask them questions and hold one of my one-man protests out there. I just hope none of the victims show up. I don't want any of the victims to show up and, make me leave because I get within 100 feet of them. We don't want them to be, especially Colin Albert. He gets very sad. He said he was really sad. So we don't want that. And yes, I did. Ken Mello was at D&E Pizza today because that's his boy. He's got him on speed dial. That's his boy. So anyway, we're going to talk all about this. We're going to talk all about it, but anyway, let me see what we got here. So anyway, what else am I forgetting? Socials, name. Oh yeah. If you guys want to donate to the program, there is a link. You can't do the turtle chat. You can't do super chat rather, because we had the wrong opinion about the vaccine mandate a couple of years ago. So your money is no good here when it comes to that. So we built our own platform called Turtle Chat. If you click at the link at the top, that brings you to a thing where you can donate whatever amount of money you want. And when you do that, you can do a message. I will get the message in my inbox and I will read it out loud to the class. Or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. So already got a couple here. Let's see what we got. First up is Patty sends $25 and says, Rita was awesome tonight, number 1. And number 2, have you learned who owns D&E Pizza if Chris doesn't anymore? No. I mean, people tell me all the time, Chris doesn't own D&E Pizza. And then nobody ever sends me paperwork showing otherwise. So I don't know who owns that. So if they do, please send it. $10 from Cookie says, Chicken Parm Charlie's Pizza Shop is looking dead as ever. I swear it didn't used to be that nasty looking inside. He's kind of a wuss. Oh, kind of. Kind of. I mean, it's a welfare pizza shop. That's what D&E Pizza is. It's a place where all the McAlbert supporters, all 25 of them who lost at the audit thing, it's where they go. They don't really want it. Like, nobody wants mediocre chicken parm. And we need to start selling D&E shirts too. We need to start selling D&E Pizza 1-star Google shirts. It just says mediocre chicken parm below it. It's got to be done. Or very bad, would not recommend. Or blood pizza, something like that on it. We definitely need some D&E 1-star Google review shirts like we have for the Biden ones. We need those for D&E Pizza. But Ken Mello was seen there at the welfare pizza shop today, because that's all that place is. It's a place for people who feel bad for the McAlberts and what they're going through. It's not easy framing an innocent woman for murder and committing a murder and then framing an innocent murder after the fact. It's not easy because, people criticize them, guys. They thought like they just want to murder and just move on with their lives and, run for selectmen and run their pizza shops and, just go on and go to Bridgewater State. And I don't know, maybe go to Ken Berkowitz's retirement ceremony for the circle jerk there. Just live life like none of this happened. What's the big deal? They can't even do that. And now you got peaceful protesters showing up in town and, saying justice and, like don't frame innocent people for murder and whatnot. And it's like, they can't even, I mean, I thought this was a free country. You can't even murder and cover it up after the fact. What the hell? What is this, communist China? I guess. I don't know. So yeah, Ken Mello was at the pizza shop today. So at least somebody's buying pizza there. Keeping that going. What else do we have here? Seymour sends $10 and says, love you, Clarence. I love you too, Seymour Butts. Thank you very much. Christopher sends $44, specific amount. He says, anytime someone kills a dog in a movie, it doesn't end well for them. Same in real life. R.I.P. Chloe. We don't know if Chloe's dead. Free Karen and happy birthday, John, on Friday. Yeah, John's birthday is Friday. Obviously, they are going to try to publicize the crap out of that and pretend like they give a shit. But I think we should do the same because we actually do care about justice for John O'Keefe here. Like, we think that the people who murdered him should be put behind bars. And yeah. Okay. Let's see. We got a couple cash apps here. Hold on a second. Okay. So first cash app is from, is this Lisa? Yeah, Lisa sends $20 and says, you're worth more than $1 million. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Ain't gonna quit. Appreciate that, Lisa. Thank you. Brendan sends $25. It says, keep up the great reporting, doctor. And thank you for calling me doctor. And I will do that, Brendan. Appreciate that. Jim Ferris Bueller sends $5 and says, I really want to dent daddy's cheeks tonight. Okay. Thank you, Jim. James sends, this was yesterday. James sent $50 yesterday. And he said, Dr. Turtle is kicking ass and taking names. I'd like to think so. And I think I missed this from Claire McKenna the other night on the show. She said, can you fix the lawn on the background? No, I can't do that. I wish I could. I guess I could get a more updated photo, but this is just so typical of how the Alberts kept their house and the kind of people they are. Like, they move to a nice neighborhood, then they turn it into this, is what it is. Any other donos I'm missing here? Let me see. Another turtle chat here from Richard sends $50. Thank you, Richard. He says, from Mansfield, Rick, keep up your great work, Dr. Turtleboy. And thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you calling me doctor. That means a lot. I'm going to keep up the good work. Just got to stay out of jail. Although I feel like a lot better about that today than other days. Not that I was that worried about going to jail. I mean, of course I'm worried about going to jail. Like, it's like these charges are real, and it's like they do. And like, obviously they've convinced some judges that context doesn't exist. So that's a problem I need to work on. But do we have another one here? I thought I got a notification from more cash apps, and they'll roll in a minute. Usually, oh, here they go. Michael sent $10 and says, Morrissey has some meat sweats tonight. I'd say so. Thank you, Michael. Jay sends $5 and says, that female dog Kofindafer blocked me on Twitter. Join the club, sir. Join the club. Who hasn't? All righty. We missing anything else here? Yeah, shout out, by the way, to all the Rumble rats watching on Rumble right now. I see there's about 224 of you over there keeping it real. Nice to see. Okay. All right. So if anyone else wants to donate, the link is at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. I mean, I would love to debate. I would debate Kevin one-on-one if you wanted to, because I don't mind going against these morons. Like, because they don't hold up well to questioning. He's more of a monologue guy. Again, but it's like what is his name? Boundless Millennial guy. And by the way, I love how they have to rely on people like Boundless Millennial and something called Krusty Panties for their sources on this, because that's the best. Like, oh, like, let me cite this. Like, watching Carl Dougal, a police detective for the Boston Police Department cite something called Boundless Millennial is just, I mean, that's a win in and of itself. I love seeing that. But I would definitely debate Kevin if he wanted to. And I would smoke him because the facts are on my side. I mean, but he would have to recover from the beating that Olivia Lambo has been given him in the last 24 hours. If you missed it last night, I went on, I joined, they were nice enough to have me on Unsafe Spaces, the new Dave YouTube show on his new channel. Congratulations. He got away from Kevin. And I went on there and joined him and Aaron last night to watch this, the live whatever of it. And I had some brief reactions. And then I went on Young Jerks later, where I joined Mike and attorney Barrera, and Olivia Lambo joined us for the first time. We actually heard her voice, and Kevin has been accusing Olivia. She's on Twitter. She's a great follow on Twitter, my favorite Twitter follow. And as far as the Karen Reed case goes, and she knows it so well, the case so well, that Kevin and the other smooth brains, they're calling her Karen. They assume she's Karen because she knows the case that well. Because to a massage therapist like Kevin, women are stupid. And so like when a woman says something smart, he gets really suspicious of that. Like a woman couldn't be that smart. Well, maybe one woman, like Karen Reed, I think he concedes is pretty smart, but he sees another intelligent woman and he's like, no, that can't be right. That only a man could be that smart. So he's a massage therapist. So he accused her blindly of being Karen and just says it so matter of fact. So she came on last night, Olivia did. And as you can hear in her voice, she's clearly not Karen. And yeah, so he don't expect him to apologize anytime soon, but okay. Let me see if we have any other. Oh, got another turtle chat here from Scott. He says $20 and he says, I love your honesty. Well, thank you, Scott. I love yours too. Audrey Guerrero sends $5 and says, I love you, Turtleboy, all caps. I love you too, Audrey. I appreciate that. Adrian sends $5 and says, kids love Turtleboy too. Yes, they do. They do like Turtleboy. I've met a lot of kids at some of these events, great family events. I'm trying to work on the language, kids. If I say bad words, don't repeat them, please. I'm trying not to. It's not a good habit to get into, but I definitely think, just with a little heavy topics here sometimes when it comes to like, murder and whatnot. But for the most part, I think that we're doing a good thing here, that we are standing up for an innocent person, that we are teaching them to fight back when corrupt institutions violate your rights, etc. So I think it's all in all a pretty good thing, I think, that we're doing here. So, okay. So there's that. Another one here from Jackie sends $10 and says, fly high, Keith McKechnie. Today was his funeral. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So I appreciate that, Jackie, very much. Okay. All right. Where'd it go? All right, so let's talk about, I don't want to miss anyone else. If anyone else donated, the turtle chat is at the top. One more here, and this is from Mike Oxlittle, sends $5, says, live free or die. Free Karen Reed. Abso-fucking-lutely free Karen Reed. And I just hear that everywhere I go from people now. Everyone just like, that's like their code word of saying, like, I watch your show, We got your back, Turtleboy. So I appreciate that. All right. As they continue to come in, I will read them periodically. But for now, what we're going to start with is they just had a select board meeting in Canton, and Rita spoke. And you got to see the shirt she wore tonight. I'm going to play it for you real quick. You got to see this. I can't stand. He uses the Connolly picture. The Connolly picture is just too good. I can't believe he did that to himself. I'm not sure what else happened at this meeting. I think
Contractor on that fully cured and
really the goal website
project. Your dog out with your family, but I have 3 small children and a puppy. We live
that a request
division. They're no longer made.
Oh,
That's no longer available.
That's him. That's Trotta. I interviewed him. Remember him?
240.
Remember I interviewed Trotta. He's the guy that Michael Proctor said,
We
told
have a
him that
$1,000
Lucky
for,
Lochran and the DPW
lifts
does not
at the
does not
garage
plow Fairview
down
Road.
to,
I think he's
so
crooked.
that's $100 a piece. I forget what, I can look in the book and
to undertake a property.
Oh, this is the guy that talked for 20 minutes at the thing.
Of the Wardwell Conservation.
Okay.
So I was
Canton's
That's
conservation.
the David and Goliath guy.
There are signs that may need replacing. We've had some new hires.
Oh, this is Lou Jutras. Isn't this Jutras?
We still have funds available in that.
Yeah, this is the I know all the Canton people. That's the security. That's the guy who runs the town technology. I went and interviewed him in June. I found him in his office about the missing footage from the Canton Library. I wanted to know who got rid of that. Was it you, or when you handed it over to Proctor, was it all completed? And he said it was all completed. That's him. That's Jutras right there. That's the guy. I know too many people in this town. I know all the players.
Using for next year. Oh, we the April Thunder. Yeah.
Questions? No.
Coleman. I move that the board approve the 723.
Mr. Morrissey.
Okay.
1030,
On the public when they, I don't know if I do.
Real Lombardi, 8 Kings Road.
Check out his shirt.
and I
Check
was
out his
happy to
shirt.
see some of you recused
Says
yourself
journalism is
tonight,
not a crime.
From discussions. And I just wanted to bring up the ethics and conflict of interest training that you're all required to take. As elected board members, you've all been trusted to,
You can't hear this?
you know, you wanted the voters to vote for you, they voted for you, and voters trust that you keep their best
As loud as it
interests
can
in
be.
mind. Part of your training is that you must provide within 30 days of hire or election, and then annually after, and required to acknowledge in writing that you received the summary of the training. Just a random citizen happened to send something to me. On 1031, they requested public records of the training that was conducted by all 5 of you that was required by mass ethic laws. And as of 10/31/2023, only one of you had completed the mandatory training, and that was J.R. McCourt. So J.R., I thank you for complying. And when this citizen was responded to on November 7th, the other 4 of you had finally completed your training. So that's almost 11 months into the year before the mandated training was completed, which is disappointing. Also on Monday night, Ted Daniels, investigative reporter for Boston 25, reported that he had submitted a public records request to the Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey's office down on Thomas
juicy.
Street in Canton.
Ooh.
Mr. Morrissey confirmed that the DOJ is investigating the investigation into the murder
Ooh,
of John O'Keefe.
how about
They are
that?
not investigating the murder, they are
Well, that's
investigating the
awkward.
investigation. So the
Interesting.
DOJ, it's possible the investigative reporting said that they either investigate police corruption or obstruction of justice. And I hope that we are protected. The thing turned red to let me know that I'm under a minute. Thank you very much.
Yeah, didn't do that for Denise Galvin.
And I hope that, you know, we're going to get faced with a lot of lawsuits. We've had people arrested. We had
Ooh.
Turtleboy arrested.
Yep, not good.
For doing the same thing
Not
that
good.
Ted Daniels has done. and
True.
let's investigate people who are doing things that don't seem to be on the up and up.
Yep.
He was charged
Like
with felony
Chris
counts,
Albert.
and they charged him with fragments of sentences, not
Yep.
even complete sentences.
Yep. Yep.
And to
Preach.
silence him.
Yep.
And then we have the Canton 9, which
Yep.
are regular citizens who
Yep.
just held signs across the street from Mr. Albert's D&E
Ooh,
restaurant.
called him out.
And they were charged with felony counts. We're looking at serious lawsuits in this town
Mhm.
based on the way people are being charged.
Yep.
And we also
How much
heard,
is-
0 seconds.
Oh, here we go.
We also heard that Mr. Mello was leaving your restaurant today,
Oh.
D&E Pizza today, and we hope that you will
Okay, that's enough.
resume and
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Ooh, Mr. Mello was leaving the D&E restaurant today. And yeah, that's not good. That's definitely not good. So what's Ken Mello doing there? Supporting the welfare business. I mean, why is he here at all? Like, why is he Chris Albert's bitch Like why? Like how much does Chris Albert cost the town of Canton? I'd like to do an audit of that. How much is just his special protection has cost the town of Canton? He doesn't pay taxes. I mean, we've seen all the liens that he has, but it doesn't look too good for him right now because he's been protected, of course, by Michael Morrissey's office. And yeah, we're going to get to that now. Let's just jump right into that, shall we? Let's pull it up. While I'm doing that, I got a turtle chat here from James, says $10 and says, I want to see Morrissey dragged through the streets in chains. I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be appropriate. I wouldn't mind that. And also got one here from Michelle, sends $50, says first time awake for Alive, Desperitas and Kevin Rock. Okay, I don't know which Kevin, but definitely not Yellow Cottage Sales. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for joining us for your first one. If anyone else wants to donate, Cash App is $ Uncle Turtleboy or link at the top for Turtle Chat. You can do it that way. All right. And by the way, he was like looking at her too. You know, Chris, it's like, but he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. Okay, let's pull this up. So we all watched Ted's thing last night, and let's just watch it again as a class, shall we?
Tonight, multiple sources confirmed at 25 investigates that federal authorities were already looking into the Kearney murder case in Canton before the public movement to free her began.
As investigative reporter Ted Daniel shares, it's the
not that I give a shit that much. I'm happy they're covering this, but like their sources are reporting that they were looking into it. Yeah, like I've been reporting that for months. We put out like we got the Bridgewater State stuff on Colin Albert, and now they're like we're reporting it. Okay, that's fine. But I just at this point I just want it reported. So I am happy with that. So I will allow it. I will allow it. And I like how he also mentions the Free Karen Reed. Like he mentions it like a movement. Like it's almost trademarked now. Like Free Karen Reed is a movement. So glad to see that's happening as well.
latest twist in this incredibly high-profile case.
Most murder cases don't have a basis for federal jurisdiction. The feds do have the power to investigate the investigators. Sources tell me this probe is being run by the U.S. Attorney's Public Corruption Unit in Boston. And we've learned the Norfolk County DA is privately pushing back.
April 12th, Karen Reed's lawyers announced a dramatic turn in her murder case. They claim new evidence establishes her innocence in the death of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe.
Pointing the finger at witnesses in this case. One of the relatives who was inside the party
what's that?
How long to die in cold.
April 12th, that's 5 days before I ever reported on this, right? And so that story, it kind of shows like this story was out there on April 12th, but who was talking about it? You know, it wasn't getting much coverage at all, wasn't getting much traction. And I just, when I read it, I'm like, oh, you got to do it right. You got to really explain the whole story. I mean, this is obviously what caught my attention first on April 12th. I've always said that the April 12th filing, that's what caught my attention for how long to die in cold. And there it is. Again, for anyone who claims this is fake, this is called, see that word right there? It says celebrate. That's the data extraction report. See this? See where it says yes under deleted right there at 2:27? That means she deleted it. That's what that means. Okay. I know it's really hard to understand, and this is somehow controversial, but it's kind of undeniable.
It would be the first time the public would hear allegations of cover-up, but not the U.S. Attorney's Office. 2 days before, on April 10th, a federal grand jury issued subpoenas to people connected to the case, according to a source with direct knowledge of the proceedings. Reed's attorney, Alan Jackson, briefly referenced the probe at a hearing for Reed in May.
But Karen Reed should not have to wait for the feds to figure out which heads should roll.
Multiple sources tell 25 investigators
Josh
the
Levy.
U.S. Attorney's Office is examining local and state law enforcement's handling of the Reed case. And 2 FBI agents have been questioning people in and around Canton and reviewing documents from the Norfolk DA's office and the Canton Police Department.
And I've always said that there's 2 FBI agents walking around Canton talking people, one of whom is a woman. They've been seen inside the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. They're all over this. They got, like I'm telling you, and it gets better. Let's go on.
They're not looking into the specific murder itself. I think that's the misconception a lot of people get. They're not investigating the murder. They're investigating the investigation of the murder.
Yes.
Evan Gottlob is a former federal prosecutor who worked public corruption cases in Boston. Sources tell 25 Investigates multiple people identified by police as witnesses in the Reed case have testified before the federal grand jury.
Yeah, and more specifically, Colin Albert, Brian Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Allie McCabe, Caitlin Albert, and Brian Albert Jr. Maybe more too. I'm assuming Brian Higgins would probably be one of the first people to testify. Anyone who's lawyered up, which is like all of them. Like they all had lawyers in April. What does that tell you? Why do witnesses need lawyers? Like that's wild. If you have nothing to hide at all, that should have been the first sign that like, something's up here. And it's like, why was I the only one interested in getting to the bottom of that? This is a fascinating story, and I'm happy that Ted's doing it. But it's like, what took everyone so long?
U.S. Attorney's Office began a public corruption investigation on a hunch.
Usually there's a tip from somebody. The federal government could be looking into possible corruption in the police department, possible obstruction of justice in the investigation, those sort of things.
Innuendo is not evidence.
25 Investigates has learned Norfolk DA Michael Morrissey
Look at his
believes
glasses.
he's being targeted.
What's with the
According
eyebrows?
to two sources, Morrissey sent a letter to DOJ headquarters in Washington requesting that the federal probe be transferred out of Massachusetts.
I can't believe that. I really can't believe that. This is so funny. He wrote a letter asking to speak to the manager of the DOJ. This happened in real life. He called. So he found out that the FBI was investigating him, and the local U.S. Attorney's Office was investigating him. He's like, I just don't like this. I don't like being investigated. Because didn't do nothing. I'm in. Nobody investigates me. I do the investigating. I'm the district attorney. And so he's like, what am I going to do about this? Certainly not talk to the U.S. attorney or the FBI about it. I'm going to write a letter to the manager of the DOJ. I'm going to write a letter to the manager and be like, can you please, these FBI agents that you got, looking into me here. I would like if they were just gone. Can you do that for me? Can you, because I don't like being investigated. I just don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It's awkward. We're trying to commit criminal acts here. We're trying to cover up a murder here. You're cramping our style, dude. This isn't how things are done in Norfolk County. It's not how things are done. He just didn't like it. He wasn't a fan. So he wrote a letter to the manager of the DOJ asking them to, give him a break. Give Michael Morrissey a break.
In the letter, Morrissey
this
alleges
is great.
Rachael Rollins, who was the U.S. attorney when the probe began, held a personal grudge against him. Morrissey argues that is a conflict of interest, according to our sources. Rollins resigned on May 19th following two scathing government watchdog group reports accusing her of abusing her authority and committing multiple ethical violations.
We know Morrissey's letter exists because the DA's office...
So we'll stop right there for 1 second. The mention of Rollins is a distraction. That's all he's doing here. He is trying to distract you. Rachael Rollins has nothing to do with this case. She has never had anything to do with this case. This case has always been run by Josh Levy. I've said that from day one. I've said him and Adam Deitch. Those are the names I've thrown out there that were given to me, and that they were the ones leading this whole thing. If you read the Rachael Rollins corruption report, I apologize. What's his name? Josh Levy is all over it. Actually, do I have a thing here? Yeah, check this out. I'm going to show you this story real quick. We'll come back to the TED tape here. We're going to talk about who Josh Levy is. I should do a story on who he is because he's going to be really important to this. So 5 things to know about acting Massachusetts attorney Joshua Levy. So he's worked twice in the United States. He's worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office twice. Before that, he was a partner at Ropes and Gray from 2004 to 2021. He went to Georgetown and Brown. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So here's a quote. During his 6 years, I witnessed firsthand his exceptional skills as a prosecutor, specializing in white-collar crime and political corruption cases. That's his specialty. His dedication, expertise, and unwavering commitment to upholding justice have always been evident in his work. That's a good answer. Okay. Unwavering pursuit of justice. So he has extensive legal experience. He won at Ropes and Gray. He was named Lawyer of the Year. So he's an award-winning lawyer, much like I'm an award-winning journalist. I also won an award in 2017. So him and I have that in common. During the beginning of the pandemic, he was involved. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Oh. He was responsive, open-minded, and respectful regarding the issues we raised. As he steps into his new role with the DOJ, we hope that he continues the investigations into police misconduct that were initiated by Rachael Rollins and holds accountable any state actors who engage in misconduct against our clients. Or, not your clients, because this guy is from the Committee for Public Counsel Services. How about just all clients, not just poor clients? Brian O'Connor, a partner with Ropes and Gray, worked with them extensively. He said, I think also critically here, given where we are, Josh has trust and confidence of all prosecutors in that office. They know him well. He'd been there as a line prosecutor. Okay. He's of great character. So he's listed as on high-level cases. Okay. So he's done a lot of high-level cases. And this is the good part here. This is what I wanted to get to. He repeatedly tried to stop Rachael Rollins from making unethical decisions. All through, when I did the story on Rollins, all throughout the report, the ethics report on her. So if you're unfamiliar with Rachael Rollins, she was the former district attorney for Suffolk County, appointed by President Biden to be United States Attorney for Massachusetts. It was extremely controversial because she is extremely ratchet. She made the Final Four in Ratchet Madness in 2020, lost to Monica Cannon Grant, her girl, in the Final Four. We call her Road Rage Rollins because she was involved in a road rage incident. And then when she got called out for being in the road rage, she threw her blue lights on while she was shopping on Christmas Eve, and she threatened some really nice woman named Katie Lawson, really nice girl, and she came after Katie, and then called it the rantings and ravings of a white woman. That's what she called the victim in that case. Anyway, so the media showed up her house, and she threatened to make up a charge against them. She couldn't believe they came to her house, which, by the way, not witness intimidation when they do it to her. She's certainly a witness in a million cases because she's the DA. And when Boston 25 News showed up to her house to ask her questions, that was not witness intimidation. I'd like to point that out. So she told them, what are you doing at my house? Get out of here. She goes, oh, so you're down here for the road rage things, the rantings and ravings of a white woman. She goes, how about I make up some stuff about you, some charges, and then we charge you and see how you like it. It's oh, so you're threatening to make up charges? Okay, cool. And then she still got confirmed in a 50-50 tie in the United States Senate, completely along partisan lines. Every Democrat voted for Rachael Rollins because that's how people do. They just vote along party lines. It's who cares about party? This woman was in Ratchet Madness, Final Four. You can't have a ratchet in the U.S. Attorney's office. I warned them. And she got in there and she starts abusing the office, getting free Celtics tickets, ignoring every ethics law. And in the story I wrote about this in the report, Josh Levy throughout the entire thing was telling her not to do that shit. And she just ignored him. And that's what it says here. Levy's rise to power came after two separate ethics reports were published by the DOJ Inspector General and the U.S. Office of Special Counsel. Those reports detail Rollins' alleged abuse of power, including a violation of the Hatch Act, which prohibits federal employees from engaging in political activity on duty. The Office of the Inspector General found Rollins tried to influence the Suffolk County DA's election last year, leaking non-public information to a journalist. She tried to share potentially damaging information about then interim DA Kevin Hayden to cast his political rival in a more positive light. That would be Ricardo Arroyo, alleged multi-time rapist, Ricardo Arroyo, and former Boston city councilor who was ousted summarily, I believe, in the primary. Him and Kendra Lara did not make it past the primary. So that's not good. On page 10, it's noted that Rollins unsuccessfully tried to convince Levy to issue a letter that would have created the impression that the DOJ was investigating Hayden. So she tried to, in order to make sure Kevin Hayden lost his primary, she tried to get Josh Levy to write a fake letter saying that her office was investigating the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. And maybe that's how she operates, but Josh Levy said no. The report said that Levy also stated to Rollins that he didn't think she should be involved in a potential investigation into transit officers' alleged misconduct and a separate public corruption investigation into Hayden. He then limited his communications with Rollins on the matters because he thought she would be recused from any investigations. So he's a straight shooter. We do not have to worry about this guy. He is appears to be incorruptible, which is great. I mean, it's really, that should be the standard. That shouldn't be like a surprise. That should literally be the standard for, every public official who, especially people who work in law enforcement. And it's a shame that it's not. We have to be like, oh, good. It's nice to see an honest one for once. Okay, cool. So back to Ted. Let's see what Ted's got to say.
Us was forced to acknowledge it when they denied our public records request for it.
Their written response is the letter contains confidential personal information, privileged attorney work product, and is connected to an ongoing criminal investigation.
Is it
So they didn't hand over this letter, that one letter that we talked about the other day that was from the district attorney's office, from Morrissey himself, I believe, to the DOJ. And the reasoning for doing that was that it contained, what did it contain? Confidential personnel information, privileged attorney work product, whatever that means, and ongoing criminal investigations. But as Ted Daniels pointed out, it's not an ongoing. No, it's not. It's not an ongoing criminal investigation because you're not. Ted Daniels had a great quote on this today. Let me see if I can pull it up here. It was it was actually a really good point that I hadn't thought of. Let me see if I can find it. What did Ted say here? Hold on. Yeah. The district attorney's office can make a claim to withhold their own investigative techniques, but that argument is irrational when they are not the investigators. So if they were like, if there was something in this letter about an ongoing investigation that they were conducting, then yeah, you could say that we can't hand it over because it's an ongoing criminal investigation. But it's like, but it's not about that. It's about you. So what's up with that? So he goes on.
Investigation. Is it possible the feds would get involved in a case because of a grudge?
No, I would hope not. That's not the job. The job is to do justice.
Gottlob says public corruption investigations typically take 2 to 4 years for a resolution. If no criminal activity is found, he says the feds aren't obligated to do or say.
So if it takes 2 to 4 years, and people are like, well, that sucks. It's like, but at the same time, I'm thinking about this and I'm like, how on earth now can the Karen Reed trial go forward? Like it's Bev Canoni, so anything's possible, I guess. But in a sane world, you would, if I was Alan Jackson or David Yannetti, I would stand up in court and say, excuse me, Your Eminence, but I'd just like to make the court aware that those guys over there on the other side, they're under federal investigation by the FBI, specifically regarding corruption in this case. Like they're being investigated. We're not even talking about the Alberts or the McCabe's or anything else we've been talking about. We're talking about those guys over there across from us. That guy with the hair gel who gets up here, and just reads off the piece of paper, the yellow piece of paper. So, Your Honor, you see, Your Honor, the McCabe's and don't know the Proctors, and that stray, that those children in the background, they've never seen those children before. Those are free range feral children. They just walk around the streets of Canton, apparently, and they just get into pictures and they photobomb, and it's an ongoing problem in the town of Canton. But we just want to reiterate that they don't actually know each other, and this is made up by the defense team, and there's no basis to that whatsoever, Your Honor. So he's just going to get up there, and that's just what they do. And so if I'm up, like, how can it go on? Like, they're under, how can you possibly continue to have a trial at this point when literally they're on, it's not a secret anymore. It's not like Alan Jackson's just saying in court and Turtleboy saying in his stories. It's like Michael Morrissey has admitted it. They're under FBI investigation, and not just in general. They're under FBI investigation for this case, for the Karen Reed case. Like, shouldn't there be a pause? Like, okay, time out. We're pausing this until we figure out what's going on here, until this is resolved, because it says 2 to 4 years here. What if Karen Reed gets convicted and then, like, 3 years from now, they're like, oh shit, yo, actually there was corruption. So my bad. Like, shouldn't we just pause it? Time out? Can we do a timeout and say, just pause the trial? Like, we got to hold off on this until this is figured out. How can the Karen Reed case move forward? I mean, it's a serious question. How can they do that? If them, I'm bringing that up. I hope it's brought up in my case. Whatever Tim Bradle thinks we should do, we'll do. But, like, it's like, how can this not be brought up that those guys over there, they're under FBI investigation? I don't know anything about any FBI investigations because I've never been investigated by the FBI. I've never been the target of the FBI. My phones aren't bugged by the FBI. None of that shit happened to me. Some corrupt cops might have done it, but the cops who came and arrested me, they're under investigation. How can you continue this until that's resolved? Seriously. So it goes on.
Anything.
You won't hear anything about it. I'm pretty sure anybody in the U.S. Attorney's Office that's looking into it knows how important it is to get this right based on the interest on both sides of this matter.
Sources tell us Morrissey's conflict of interest letter to the DOJ also references a former assistant DA.
Oh, we'll get to that in 1 second. So that's another good point. The 99% here. They 99% of these, I did not know it was that high. 99% of grand juries, federal grand juries, end up with indictments. So the fact that a grand jury is happening right now, statistically, it is overwhelmingly likely that someone's getting indicted for this, man. Who could it be? How can you go forward not knowing the answer to that question? How can you go forward? And once they are indicted, then it's like a 97% conviction rate. Like, you're fucked. They're fucked. And now listen to this. Now listen to this excuse. So first he tried the Rachael Rollins excuse. The Rachael Rollins is mean to me excuse. And then there's this excuse too, which we're going to get to.
Morrissey's conflict of interest letter to the DOJ also references a former assistant DA who used to work in his office. In the letter, Morrissey says she is married to a high-ranking federal prosecutor in the public corruption unit. 25 Investigates has petitioned the Secretary of State's office to force the Norfolk DA to turn over the letter. We also tried to reach out to Rachael Rollins, but did not hear back.
And she has not tweeted since the incident in May. She has dropped off the face of the earth, apparently. I don't know what she does for work. But that was interesting information right there, huh? About
the letter. We also tried to reach out to Rachael.
So they confirmed the letter.
Has petitioned the Secretary.
So first of all, they try hiding the letter from him, which pisses him off. But he also talks about a former Norfolk County ADA is married to someone in the public corruption unit of the U.S. Attorney's Office. So I did my search, and the name that kept coming up for public corruption in the U.S. Attorney's Office is a guy named Dustin Chow. And so then I worked backwards from there, and we found his wife. So I know exactly who Morrissey's talking about here. So let's go check it out. I guess, I mean, this woman is not the enemy. This woman is like being used as a scapegoat by Morrissey. So I'm just, in case she takes it down, I'm just going to screenshot all her shit. Give me 1 sec. Hold on. Screenshot that. Screenshot that. Okay, cool. We're good. All right. So let's find her. Her name's Laura. Where did Laura go? There she is. This is the one. This is the one he's accusing of being biased. So her name is Laura Greenberg-Chao. And he said former, what did he say? Former ADA? Like she's a former ADA for him. How long ago do you think that was? Let's find out. Let's look at this woman's bio on LinkedIn. Let's see what it says. So, okay, she has been at Henshaw Klein LLP for 8 years and 2 months. She's a partner there. She's a partner. She was senior counsel before that. Okay, so that brings us back to 2015. She's been an adjunct professor at the New England Law for that time, a contributing senior attorney for Prosecutor Center for Excellence from 2015 to 16. And there she is, ADA for Norfolk County from 2013 to 2015 after moving here from New York, where she was an ADA for the District Attorney's Office of New York County. And she was also an adjunct professor at Fordham in the Bronx. So, yeah, I mean, she was so this is how bad Meatball Morrissey has to reach into his bag of tricks here to try to get his way out of this one. He's like, well, how did he even remember this? This woman who was an ADA for him 8 years ago, and unlike Adam Lally, actually wanted to make money and is talented probably, so she went into private practice where she's probably killing it. And because of that, he believes that because she's married to a guy who works in public corruption for the U.S. Attorney's Office, that she cannot, that they can't investigate him. They can't investigate him. Like, what kind of conflict is that? Where's the conflict? Like, is he saying that she left on bad terms and she's like talking shit about him, and this is like how she gets her revenge, and she gets her husband to investigate him? Like, what is the conflict here? Seriously, what is the conflict? He's grasping, man. He's grasping. He's got nothing. There is no conflict. As he likes to say, there is no conflict with Trooper Proctor. No, there's no professional whatever. It's all made up. All made up. So anyway, let's talk about the Rollins situation. Before I do that, let me read a couple turtle chats if we have any. Let me see. Got a couple turtle chats here to read. Okay. First up, we have one from SH sends $10 and says, will you ever do a deep dive into Sergeant Link? It's Lieutenant Link, actually. He seems very dirty and has been involved with Lapolito, Birchmore, and O'Keefe. Yeah, I know. I've written about all of those, so I feel like the deep dive has been done in that regard. And he graduated from Canton High School in 1990, and he looked like the biggest douche in the yearbook. So thank you very much for the Dono, SH. Michael Morrissey donated $25. Wow. And he says, help. I'm scared straight. Okay. Well, you should be. I would be too. Cali Girl in Newport Beach, California donates $25 and says, West Coast supports you and Karen Reed. Keep up the fight. Truth shall prevail. Shout out from the West Coast. Nice to see you out there, Cali Girl. I appreciate that. Kathleen sends $10 and says, leave Morrissey alone. It needs to stop. That whole press conference makes a lot more sense now, doesn't it? It's like he just thought that he was just untouchable. Maybe it needs to stop, like the FBI needs to stop. Maybe that's what he was talking about. Leave us alone. Next up, 25 bucks from Liz says, "You rock. We are all listening. Keep up the fight." Thank you very much, Liz. I appreciate that. Also over here on the Cash App. Let's see. Emmy and sends 10 bucks and says, "Corrupt people suck." Got that right. And you fight them. Thanks. That's a good way of putting it, Emmy. Thank you. Shannon McMahon sends 10 bucks and says, "Protect public records requests tomorrow at 9 a.m. I think Shannon, she was on the Young Jerks last night. She ran for ADA of Bristol County, I believe, against Quinn. And I don't know what, somebody sent me a link for that. Protect public records requests tomorrow at 9. I need to know more specifics about that, but I'd be interested in learning. Jane sends $20 and says, "Morrissey's done. Free Karen Reed." I do think this is the beginning of the end from him. Absolutely. So cool. If anyone else wants to donate, the Cash App is $ Uncle Turtleboy, or you can donate to the link at the top of the chat for Turtle Chat and donate whatever you want. Write a message and I will read it out loud to the class. Okay, so let's talk about what this conflict with Rollins even is. As we know, Rollins is, like I said, she's a full-fledged ratchet. All right, and I feel like him even bringing her into this was just his way. He knows that she's controversial and kind of disgraced, and I feel like him bringing her into this was just his way of saying, well, if Rachael Rollins is out to get me, then everybody else out to get me is equivalent to Rachael Rollins. I think that's what he's trying to do here, is equate everyone else with Rachael Rollins, because he knows that she is not very popular right now, and understandably so. But what exactly happened here? Well, as a matter of fact, it's kind of ironic, but there was a case in July of 2020, an incident rather. And basically there was two guys, one was 18 and one was 17, and they were convicted of murder, black kids in Boston. They killed someone. I think it was 16-year-old they killed. And the gunman was 17, but the 18 was, you give him the gun, you go along with them, that's murder too. And so the 18-year-old got life without parole. The 17-year-old was 10 days before his 18th birthday. And because of that, he got life with parole in 15 years, option of parole in 15 years. And so they argued that 18, 19, and 20-year-olds should not be eligible for life without parole because their brains aren't whatever. So this is obviously a thing that Rachael Rollins, as an ultra progressive, has been pushing hard, like as part of criminal justice reform. I don't agree with it. I think that 19-year-olds, even if you kill somebody, you murder an innocent person, you got to go, you're going to jail for life. Sorry. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But regardless, they were going to have a hearing in Suffolk Superior Court in Suffolk County. There's going to be an evidentiary hearing about whether or not the brain functions, and for should this 18-year-old be allowed to, whatever, should they be allowed to have a chance at parole, basically. And Morrissey and 3 other district attorneys, one from the Cape, I think it's Barnstable County, another Tim Cruz from Plymouth County, and whoever the DA from Essex County was, they all signed a thing saying basically we're against this because they thought it would have implications in their county. If the whole state said that you can't sentence 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to life without parole, it was like a couple hundred people were going to be eligible parole who were killers. And so I'm against that, right? But whatever. It was in her county that this was happening, where she was in charge. It's not her county. It's the county that she was elected to represent. So that's ironic here, because now Morrissey is complaining about other outside agencies entering his county, Norfolk County. No, this is my county. I run shit here. You can't come in here and be involved in the murder investigation. Meanwhile, he butts his nose into Suffolk County business, except the big difference there is that the DOJ oversees Norfolk County and Suffolk County and all the counties, because Norfolk County is a county in something called Massachusetts, which is what's called a state in the Union. See, the United States of America, it's a union of states, and it's overseen, like all of our states are separate. They all have their own whatever governance. But then there's Washington, D.C., which is the federal government, and they kind of oversee it all. States have rights to do their own thing, but they oversee it all. So federal law and they oversee you. They don't want to. They're not going to meddle in everything there, but if they need to, they will. So that's that's how federalism works. And so apparently he doesn't understand this concept that like Norfolk County is not sovereign. It's not Monaco. It's not San Marino or one of those dot countries in Europe on the map there that you can't actually see. It is a county in a state that is part of a country. And you don't just get to just say, well, we're our own. We can do whatever we want here because I'm in charge. And I'm the king. I'm King Dick around here. I'm Michael fucking Morrissey, pass the gravy. Well, that's not how it works. They do oversee you. However, Norfolk County does not oversee Suffolk County. So it's actually a little different. Like the U.S. Attorney's Office does have the right to intervene in Norfolk County, but the DA of Norfolk County does not have the right to intervene in Suffolk County. So anyway, Rollins did what, instead of just on the merits saying, yeah, well, we disagree with those four guys, and this is our county, so mind your own goddamn business. That's not how Rachael Rollins rolls. She did the only thing that she knew how to do, and she's like, oh, 4 white guys signing a document? Bunch of racists and massage therapists. You're racist massage therapists. This isn't your case, you white people, you white devils. And basically told them, get the fuck out of here based on that. I have, this is a comment from Rollins. My chief of appeals, that's a woman. My deputy chief of appeals, that's a woman. My deputy chief of appeals, that's a woman. My general counsel, that's a woman. First of all, I guess I would also follow it up with, but what is a woman? Miss Rollins, like what even does that mean anymore? Do any of them have, do they have cocks? Any of them? It's like, cause that's, not that I don't even know what a woman is these days anymore, but, because we're doing quite fine here. I think there are hate crimes to be investigated into on Nantucket or other things they could be doing, but they haven't done for years. Rollins said if she had been a white man, of course, the other DAs would not have gone behind her back and asked to intervene. In the release, she said that she believes the motion questions her ability to do her job. It's without whatever. Nothing more than a misogynistic wolf in sheep's clothing. So she called a massage therapist there. Never has this court allowed one elected DA to intervene in another DA's matters. So they ended up losing that one. And Rachael Rollins ended up winning. But again, she had to play the card. Here she is yelling at the reporter. And you know what I'll do? I'll call the police on you and make up an allegation. So the rantings of a white woman get you here and scare my children, she says. Okay. So anyway, it's just interesting that Morrissey sent this letter to the manager of the DOJ to complain about Rollins when he had done, to complain about involvement in this case when he had done that before. Now, so that's the whole history of Rollins and Morrissey. That's it. I've researched this. That's the only time they ever talked about each other publicly, was when Morrissey signed that letter saying, I disagree that 18, 19, and 20-year-olds should not be eligible for life without parole, and I want to intervene in Suffolk County. And Rachael Rollins is basically like, Well, that's because you're a racist. And that's it. That was the end of their beef. That was the end of the beef. There was no long-standing feud, nothing. There was no, like, she didn't try to, I mean, how do you think Kevin Aidan feels? That guy, she has like a pincushion of Kevin Aidan in her living room. Just sits there, fucking Kevin Aidan. Fucking hate that guy. I will support a rapist over Kevin. She fucking hates Kevin Aidan with a passion. But Michael Morrissey, she's like, whatever. The fat white guy, yeah, he's a racist, but I don't give a shit. Whatever. Okay. Just call him a racist and move on with my day. So for him, this is the best Morrissey could come up with for what the conflict is. Rachael Rollins once called me a racist. Oh, no way. No way. Join the club. Who hasn't she called a racist? Who hasn't she called a massage therapist? This is what she does. It's like if every person Rachael Rollins accused of being a racist was just banned, like that, this is a conflict that can't be investigated by her. She couldn't investigate anyone. There's no one she could investigate. She's called every white person a racist. Okay. So there's that. So that's the best. And then Dustin Chow's wife worked for him 8 years ago or something. So they can't work there. Okay. Anyway, it's a personal grudge. Personal grudge. So we talked about that. And then it's just so funny that this is literally a Monica Cannon Grant excuse. Like Monica Cannon Grant is also being charged by the feds in Rachael Rollins' office for a whole bunch of shit that I first reported on. But she would not be going to jail if it wasn't for me. So she's indicted for all that shit. And I don't know when the trial is going to be. It's got to be coming up soon. Deitch is the guy who's in charge of the Monica Cannon Grant trial, by the way. So I will be going to Moakley for the first time. For those, I cannot wait for that. And she ended up turning on Monica Cannon Grant over politics because she's a snake. So there was a primary election in 2020, I think it was. Yeah, 2020. For Democratic Senate. Ed Markey was the incumbent, but he's going against Joe Kennedy, who's a Kennedy, and that's a big name in Massachusetts. And basically, Markey is so progressive that like all of the AOC wing of the party, the young progressive, climate change is bad, those people, Green New Deal, they were all with Ed Markey. Whereas, so Joe Kennedy's got some work to do. He's got to, get some black people on his side, basically. And so he's like, I need black people. Anyone will do. And Monica Cannon Grant, he's like, you yell a lot. I saw you getting the Courage Award with Boston Magazine and the Boston Globe. So we're going to have you come and be our spokesperson. Not, forgetting that Monica Cannon Grant also had some interesting things to say about pink, uncooked vagina, as she called it, white vagina. And Rayla Campbell, a black woman running for Congress, she accused her of riding white penis for a credit score, a better one, because her husband was white. Therefore, he must have better credit than her, I guess. And so he paraded her around. And, so Monica and Rachael Rollins was with Ed Markey. So they're working for different competing candidates here. And Rollins is such a snake that she contacted Rayla Campbell, knowing that me and Rayla would show up and like let us know where Monica was going to be at Kennedy events. And right on cue, Rayla showed up with her bullhorn and interrupted a Ted Kennedy event. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. That's the kind of snake that what's her name is, Rachael Rollins is. But anyway, so now Monica's claiming that to save herself, she's saying that, like, according to Boston Globe, Boston Herald, and others, I allegedly enriched myself with the $6,000 from the former DA U.S. attorney, but she offered me more funding, screenshotted me emailing folks of what we did. Okay, so she basically starts turning and accusing Rachael Rollins of being like corrupt and saying, oh, the only reason she's coming after me is because she doesn't like me now and we're not friends anymore. It's like, so congratulations, Michael Morrissey. You've gone full Monica Cannon Grant. You've gone full Monica. Like your reasoning for why the DOJ should tap out of this is exactly the same argument as Monica Cannon Grant's. And that's never a good thing. That's never a good thing because she didn't get out of it. And I don't think that you are either. Okay, let's go on to the next thing. Do we have any more cash apps? Okay, a couple turtle chats to read here in the meantime. Kristen says Alex Verdugo traded to the Yankees. What the fuck? Love you, doctor. Free carry. Honestly, I haven't watched the Red Sox in years. I don't give a shit after, like, they suck. Not only do they suck, they're the woke Sox too. Like, I have no interest in the Red Sox at all. Like, I don't watch baseball and I don't miss it at all. Like, baseball sucks. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna have my kids play softball or baseball, whatever. I go to watch, like, there's a softball field right where we play soccer, right? And so we go by there and kids are playing and shit. And I watched a game the other day and I'm watching it and, you know, they're trying to pitch. Some poor girl's up there pitching and she can't throw a strike. She's just throwing all balls and everybody's walking, shit like that. But even when they do hit it, it's like it dribbles down to like whatever shortstop and then they can't get anyone out. And it's just like, meanwhile, I'm watching the 10 kids standing there and no one's moving. And I'm like, I'm not signing my kids up for this. So they just stand there. Like, the whole purpose of sports is to get like exercise and get out and shit. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I will not be a baseball parent. I'm an American. So I feel like by law, my son has to know how to swing a bat. Like, you have to, if you're an American and your kid and your son at least doesn't know how to swing a baseball bat, you've done dadding wrong. You've done parenting wrong. Like, it's like that's what separates us from the Europeans. Our kids can swing bats, period. It's what makes us American. It's true. Everybody knows it. All the people over in England, y'all know it too. I mean, maybe cricket you guys can do, but like an actual swing of the bat with your wrists, like that's an American thing. It's what we teach our kids. So I will teach them in the backyard how to swing a bat. We'll play home run derby, but I can't sign them up for baseball. Can't do it. I played baseball and I quit, I think, in 4th grade because it was too boring. I can't, so I don't miss the Red Sox at all. So I guess Alex Verdugo is traded. Didn't he beat the shit out of some girl? Well, I don't know. That's right when the Alex Verdugo years was right when I stopped watching. I'm like, we got rid of Mookie Betts for this guy? Nope, not watching this shit anymore. No way. Okay. Thank you, Kristen. Scott sends $28 and says, Jim Ferris is rude at select board meetings, creepily followed us out of the building and started ripping butts. He was there. He's so weird. Doc sends $10, says, here's a thought. the Norfolk District Attorney's Office is claiming that one of the federal lawyers is married to a former ADA of theirs. Could they have opened an investigation into this former ADA in some wild retaliation plan for the feds looking at their office? I have no idea. Well, she hasn't worked there in 8 years, so doubtful. Jenny B sends $25 and says, for Michael Morrissey's hair dye. And can we do something about the eyebrow too? Never has a man needed a unibrow more than Michael Morrissey. Like, why is one eyebrow so much higher than the other? It makes no sense. Jenny B sends $25, says, oh, no, that was Michael Morrissey's hair dye. Okay, cool. Cash apps. I think we had a cash app here. I got to read. Let's see what we got. Adrian sends another $4 and says, I love you, Turtleboy. You're awesome. Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate that. Love you too. All right. If anyone else wants to donate, the link for the Turtle Chat is on the top, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. All right, cool. Let's get into the next thing here. Okay, so this Michael Morrissey did an interview with the Globe today that I thought was pretty interesting. And let me read it to you. Let's go over what it says here. So Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey said Tuesday that he was mystified why federal prosecutors and the Boston office of the FBI have taken the extraordinary step of conducting an inquiry into the ongoing Karen Reed murder prosecution. Stop right there. So this guy, think about it. He sought out the media. This guy gets exposed on Ted Daniel. And then he's like, I'm going to go and seek out the Globe and embarrass myself some more. Because I doubt the Globe came to him. I think he probably thought that, like, I can just talk my way out of this one. So he goes to the Globe and he starts telling them that he's mystified. Can you come across as weaker? You're mystified? What do you I know why. I know why. We've been talking about it for quite some time that he was mystified. Why federal prosecutors? I mean, this is the kid that got caught stealing his ice, like got caught stealing, right? Stealing a candy bar from the store, and then gets caught. And it's like, oh, I just don't understand why people are coming after me now. Because you got caught, motherfucker. What do you think people coming at? What are you mystified by? You know exactly what people are here for. Did you miss all the protests outside? Did you miss all that? Did you miss the press conference that Alan Jackson held on the courthouse stairs, in which he specifically called out your name and said he was going to speak real slowly so you'd understand it? And they held up a picture of all the times that Michael Proctor's family interacted with the Alberts and the McCabe's and called them a second family and attended weddings and all that stuff. Did you miss all that? But he's mystified by it. He doesn't understand it. He goes, they don't have any jurisdiction over a state murder trial. As we're going to see, they kind of do. And he goes, so this is an extraordinary step on their part, except they're not there for the murder. They've announced that. Did you not see the report? They're there for you, fatso. Meatball. It's like, does he have no idea that he's the target? Like this whole time, did he think this whole thing was a joke? That we were talking? No, that's just Turtleboy saying that stuff. It's not. I'm not worried. It's like, oh, and it's like he's just realizing now, like, wait a minute, this shit's real? Oh. What was it Christopher said on The Sopranos about the Cuban Missile Crisis? Like, I gotta find the. Now I gotta watch it. Christopher Sopranos Cuban Missile Crisis. This is one of the funniest. It reminds me of this. All right, hold on. Check this out. It's like that. Frankie Broad Street gets it. Here we go. This is too funny.
The Russians, they're not all bad.
How about the Cuban Missile Crisis? Cocksuckers moved nuclear warheads into Cuba, pointed them right at us.
That was real? I saw that movie. I thought it was bullshit.
That was real? I thought that was real? That's like Morrissey right now. Like, oh, that was real? I saw those blogs. I thought it was bullshit. Never go full Christopher Maltasante either. Doesn't end well. He's got a drug problem. And he killed his wife. And then he got killed anyway by the same people who killed his wife. So that's not good. Never go full Christopher. He had the makings, never had the makings of a varsity athlete. Okay. Anyway, the Pine Barrens episode. That is the best episode of The Sopranos. That is a classic. He sees an interior decorator. All right. Anyway, so he's like, he doesn't get it. And then this quote is what I took away from it the most. It says right there, I'm not worried. That concerned me a little bit when he said that I'm not worried. Oh, you're not worried. You should be. I'm not worried because I have the utmost confidence in what we've done and what people have told us. What we've done. So that's him saying that, you know, we've done a great job on this case. Done a great job on this case. But the part where he goes, and what people have told us, I stewed on that line for a little bit. What people have told us, huh? At first, I was thinking this guy is surrounded by yes men like David Traub, who just lick his balls, and Adam Lally, who would never question him, and just, oh yeah, things are great. We got bombshells coming next week, whatever. So that's what I first thought of. But that doesn't make much sense. And I'm like, what we've been told. And then it clicked in me. That's him throwing Michael Proctor and Brian Tully and Yuri Bukaki under the bus. That's him saying what people have told us. AKA, Michael Proctor told me that this was on the up and up. Michael Proctor told me that he didn't know the Alberts and the McCabe's. I didn't. Are you telling me he's lying? I had no idea. I have no idea. Oh my God. I had no idea. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Wow. Michael Proctor. Wow. He lied to me. So he's playing dumb. And I understand Michael Morrissey's a really stupid person. And I guess this is his only play if he gets caught. But that's a tough sell. I mean, we know you're dumb. No doubt about it. You could be that dumb. But you did graduate from law school. You can drive a car without crashing. Well, sometimes. But you can, you can do you feed yourself. So obviously you're good at that, feeding yourself. So you got that going for you. I assume you dress yourself in the morning, so that's good. But it appears here that I don't know. He can't be this stupid. He can't say that he had no idea that any of this is going on. He's been paying attention to the case, obviously. There is no way. His office opposed the rules, the Brian Albert cell phone. They're the ones that did that. They're the ones that opposed the animal control records getting out. And we know what that ended up showing. He gave that whole press conference on August 25th in which he said Trooper Proctor doesn't know these people. He's got no conflict. And anything to the contrary is a lie. Should be taken what it is, a lie or whatever. So that's on him. Good luck with that one, more meat pie. But, how did these people think this was going to end? Did they really just must have thought that they're just King Dick of Norfolk County? Norfolk County is a sovereign nation that is not subject to United States laws. It reminds me a lot of the civil rights movement. This is basically what happened in the civil rights movement, right? Little Rock, Arkansas, 1957. The Brown versus Board of Education in 1954 ordered that all United States schools become desegregated. You cannot separate black and white anymore. So the Little Rock public schools have to desegregate. And the local authorities down there and the Governor Orville Faubus, they didn't want to desegregate the schools. So the 9 black kids, the Little Rock 9, tried to go to school on that first day and they couldn't get in. So that forced the federal government to get involved. And President Eisenhower sent the 101st Airborne down there, the D-Day guys, in there to escort the children into school every day. I did a Turtle Club episode about this a couple years ago about the Little Rock 9. It's fascinating, their whole story. But that is an example of when a local entity like the Little Rock, the city of Little Rock or the state of Arkansas, whatever, is doing something illegal. And they're the authority. I mean, the governor of Arkansas was refusing to follow the law. So that's what federalism allows the federal government then to enforce the law. Because it's a federal law, not just a state. It's you cannot do this. The United States Supreme Court said you can't do this. And so they had to intervene. And it's very similar to what Morrissey thinks happens here. The governor of Arkansas thought that he was King Dick of Arkansas. So no one can come in here and tell me what to do because we don't want to do that. And he was shocked. Wait a minute, what? You can do that? You can come down here with guns? What? Get the fuck out of here. You have no authority here. And it's the same, but they did. Because they have all the guns. They got more guns than you. So the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI, they got more guns than Michael Morrissey. So they're in charge. And so they can go down and it's he's just shocked. He's shocked Like these people thought that like this was our own shit. Like nobody can, like they really thought this day was never going to come. They are that arrogant. And that's stupid, quite frankly. And somebody was just like, nah, it's nothing. It's nothing, Burger. This will all pass over. Clearly it didn't. Clearly it didn't. And they're fucked. They are fucked. I don't know if they know this. Like they're fucked. I don't know who's getting indicted or when. But I'm guessing, I've always predicted this, that the indictments will come sometime around or before the Karen Reed trial. And if the indictments are not ready by then I predict some sort of like soft blow. Something out there that will delay it. Like, for instance, they could indict a low-level player, like a Brian Higgins or somebody like that, just to like get it started. Just no, this is legit and more shit's coming. And something to delay the start of the Karen Reed trial, or just give Karen Reed's defense team, if they're ethically required to do, and a lot of people have wondered about this, a whole bunch of exculpatory information that they have that Karen Reed's attorneys don't have. Because remember, like Brian Albert's cell phone records are a pain in the ass to get. They've been trying to get them for a while, and they can't. They can't get them because Judge Canoni, Auntie Bev won't give them. So, but the feds, they could get those in 5 seconds if they want. The geofence that Michael Proctor never applied to get, the feds probably have that already. So I'm sure if push came to shove, they would be ethically required then to hand all this over prior to trial. And I would assume like stop it in its tracks, or at least, push it forward. So I think that's my guess about what's going to happen here again. But again, my guesses have been pretty fucking good with this. I've said from the beginning that the people called in front of the grand jury, the Colin Alberts of the world, they are not the targets. I was right about that. I'm interested. I would love to know what they asked Colin Albert, and so would Michael Morrissey. He would love to know that too. I wonder if they've talked about that. They must have talked to somebody. But I'm guessing that they brought Colin Albert in there. I've never been in front of a grand jury before, or a federal grand jury. But I'm sure they have geofence putting him in that house at the same time as John. And they probably asked him what happened in there. And you can't lie, because you don't want to lie to the feds. You're in deep shit if that happens. And I'm sure his lawyers advised him just to tell the truth. And I'm sure another thing they're asking him is like, how do you know Michael Proctor? How long have you known him? Really? Did he ever investigate you for this? Did he ever ask you about this? What happened? I'm sure that's what they're looking into, is like, who covered for you, dude? We know you're a piece of shit. That's what they're saying. They know he's a piece of shit. They know he's involved in this. They want to know who allowed him to remain free, who allowed him not to be investigated. Now, could they still charge those guys? They could. It will be harder now, I would assume, without access to the house. Everything's gone. Like I'm sure most of the shit's, it's gonna be very hard to get any evidence from inside that house. They blew their chance to get it. But I mean, people could talk. Brian Higgins Sarah Levinson could have something to say. Julie Nagel could have something to say. I'm telling them what to say. I don't even want to encourage them to tell the truth, because you can't even do that anymore. You can't be like, you should tell the truth. You can't encourage people to tell the truth, because that's witness intimidation when you do that. I just think it's a good thing, generally speaking, when people tell the truth. I just think it's a good thing. That's just me. But, so he has the utmost confidence in what people have told him. So there's that. Morrissey said that he dates the federal involvement in the high-profile case to April. Actually, it's December, when Rachael Rollins was the U.S. attorney. She resigned on May 19th. So he keeps trying to bring Rollins into this. Since the spring, Morrissey said he has offered to meet with representatives from acting U.S. Attorney Josh Levy's office and FBI agents to address any concerns they might have about the Reed case, but they have not done so. There have been communications by a variety of people, including myself, to both the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office to encourage them to come and speak with us. They have not taken up the offer. That, I cannot believe you said that. Like, dude, do you understand how that looks? He's like begging them, like, hey, we should talk. And they're like, no, we're good. We're good. And somehow that didn't click with him, that like, oh shit, I'm the target. Yeah, somehow that didn't register in his brain. Why do they want to talk to all these other people, but not me? But I have things to say too. And you know what his plan is going to be. You know, guys like him, dude, guys like Michael Morrissey, like this is how they get by in life. He's been in office since the beginning of time, longer than John Connolly, probably. All these dudes. This is how massholes operate, right? These old grizzled sullies of the world. They're all, you know, oh, you know, you get that. Oh, how you doing? Michael Morrissey. Oh yeah, you look familiar. You look familiar. Did you used to go to St. Margaret's back in the day for catechism? Is that where you got your first communion? I thought I recognized. Did you grow up in Dorchester? Did you know my buddy Bobby? Did you know him? Oh yeah, he used to play hockey on Tuesdays. Yeah, you know. Oh yeah. Oh, you know Jimmy? That's his plan, to get in there and schmooze them. Throw on that heavy accent, like figure out who you know, be real, use colloquialism. This is how people like Michael Morrissey have gotten by in life. This is how people like him have stayed in power, is by being personable, and just being good with small talk and just making you feel like, oh, we're all buddies here, we're all pals. That's what he does. That's what he does. And he thought he could pull it on Levy. He's like, oh yeah, Josh Levy. He's like, okay, who does he know? Oh yeah. He was going to bring in Josh Levy in there and be like, oh yeah. So I saw you, U.S. Attorney. Congratulations. That's great. It's great. Real happy for you. Yeah. That Rachael Rollins, she was a real fire starter. Oh yeah. You know, we're glad to have her out of there. We're definitely glad to have her out of there. And glad to have you on board. Do you need a drink? You want to go down to Sully's? My buddy Kevin Collins down there. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go down there and toss a couple back if you want to join us. That's what we always do around here. And that was his plan, to just get Josh Levy in a room and start shooting the shit with him. And then when Josh Levy was like, no, we're good. He's like, what? You're good? No one's ever done that to him before, ever. That has never happened to him before. Ever has a powerful person been like, no, I'm good. I don't need you. I'm actually above you. I work for the federal government. You are you're small fish, dude. No one knows who you are. When he did that press conference on April 25th, the Court TV guys, did you ever see the Court TV reaction to this? We got to bring this up. Let me bring this up. Court TV, Michael Morrissey, August 25th. Let's see. I think I found it. Hold on.
I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight. Right off the start, this hour is now bubbling over, and
feels invested in this case
Yeah.
to hear all the actual evidence at trial before signing guilt to people who have done nothing wrong.
that health data is actually.
Oh, this is the idiot that talked about the speed bumps. What an idiot. I want to get to the good panel. Here they are.
Albert Wunsch III, also joining us in Stamford, Connecticut, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crossland, and in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. Great to see everyone tonight. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, if they can prove that he went in the house, the defense, I believe it's game over here. What do you make of all this, Al? Our expert says, wait a minute, these two findings could be consistent. You know, maybe the car could replicate some of this Apple Health stuff. What do you think, Al?
I think the jury's got to have a headache
with this one, trying to figure this out, because this is a very, very key, crucial issue. And if they can't tell me whether or not it was because he was going up and down on the street for 60 seconds before he got hit by the vehicle, or because he was actually in the house, I mean, that is crucial to this case, and it may bring that reasonable doubt up for a jury as to whether or not this is exactly what the prosecution is saying happened. I also don't think it was a brilliant move for the prosecutor or the district attorney in this case to get up there and make that public service announcement. I thought that was ridiculous. I mean, that's not
Let me
what
tell
he's
you, things are
supposed to
getting
be doing.
intense. Things are getting.
I thought that was ridiculous, right? And that's that's an outsider. He's like, that's unheard of for a prosecutor to get up and be like, leave them alone. She's guilty. We told you she's guilty. Why are you protesting? And these guys like, what the fuck? Like, this is what people from outside Massachusetts think of this. No one's ever heard of Michael Morrissey outside of Massachusetts. He's only like Michael Morrissey's probably never left Massachusetts, in case you can't tell from his accent. And people, and you, when you are that provincial, you think you're King Dick, but you're really a small fish in a much bigger pond. And these people are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And that's why they like it, where it's just like, no, we like it when we run shit. Auntie Bev's in there. We got her. We got him. We don't like this outside shit. That's why they don't like Alan Jackson. They don't like outsiders, man. They don't like it.
Super intense up there.
I understand that, but you know what? He's supposed to be above that. And
Yes.
for him to get on there and give this thing and just like, I want it to stop now. Like, that's going to make it stop. It's going to make it worse. I mean, you know, I
that's
dealt with
true.
substitute teachers.
That's true.
Every time, you know, a substitute teacher told me this is going to stop now, it got worse in my class. And that's what's going to happen in this situation.
Darnell, what do you think tonight?
So true.
I wish I was there. But anyway, so I do know that this prosecutor was really upset. The reason why I know that is because his right eyebrow, this one, was always 4 inches higher than the left. And
it's like,
as
what?
it relates to his press conference,
Oh.
he says we should not try a case in the media right before he gave all this evidence in the media. So I didn't understand that either.
Look at this roasting him.
But
it's a roast.
This is what I want
Look at
everybody
his
to
eyebrow.
realize. If
Why is it so high?
one could argue that going up steps was indicated by the Apple device, the prosecution is going to have a hard time saying, yes, that could be that, but it also could be a speed bump, or it could be going up steps. It's almost like Philip Morris arguing about what can cause cancer. It could be peanut butter. It could be all. Once you're arguing that in the negative, you're losing. So if they're coming out the gate already saying that it could be this, but also could be any of these other things, they're losing. So like you said, it's game over if he's in the house, but it sounds like it's going to be definitely a hung jury or not guilty if they're going to be arguing about speed bumps and hills.
I mean, that's a great point too, where it's just like if you're arguing about, like, you're saying that the Apple health data is caused by speed bumps and shit, like, it's your job to prove it, not Cameron Reed's job to prove it's not true. It's your job to prove it, that he wasn't in the house. And so you have to prove to these people that actually it was rising because of speed bumps. First of all, that's absurd and ridiculous, but you also you're losing. Now you're in a position where you have to, like, they have something good and you have to overcome that. And clearly you're not doing that. So how are you going to prove that to a jury?
All right, Jennifer Brandt, do you want to talk about the phone evidence? Or you want to talk about the DA's eyebrow?
I think I'd rather focus on the DA's eyebrow, Vinny, because it was definitely up. But I agree with Darnell. I mean, talking about this case and bringing up all this evidence is exactly what he's telling people not to do. And, you know, he's basically enticing people to come in and make a bigger issue of all of this. And by the way, where does this guy, the turtle guy, I mean, and all of these people, where do they have the time to get involved in this case and be so passionate about it? That, to me, is really incredible, that you have all these people in the community supporting the defendant here.
It is. It's
and
true.
you know why? They really are following this, looking closely at it.
Oh, I had Turtleboy on the show, and he said because he believes that this is someone being wrongfully convicted. He's usually on the side of police.
yeah, to get all these people together. I mean, this is going to be some trial.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be something to watch for sure.
By the way, Al, I'll give you a little piece of history on that courthouse. That's where
Here we
Sacco
go.
and Vanzetti
Here he
were
goes.
wrongfully convicted.
Yeah,
up in Denham. I know you knew
he
that.
loves pointing that out.
I did know that, and I stayed in their cell.
I did know that because I watched your show and you mention it every time. Okay. So that was a great segment, but that's what three people who are from outside the situation watching this think of Michael Morrissey. Like, what? If you look at Michael Morrissey, you're like, that guy could not get elected DA anywhere outside of Norfolk County, Massachusetts, anywhere. If you went to any other state and presented yourself like Michael Morrissey with the eyebrow and the accent and whatever, like, you could not get elected anywhere except for Norfolk County because he's just never left it. And that's how you appear as a joke. You appear as like a good old boy of Massachusetts. Like, that's how you come across. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, back to, let me read. Do we have any more turtle chats here? I got to read a couple of turtle chats here. $10 from Fan says, do you think your court date was postponed because more indictments are coming in a higher court? Therefore, Stoughton is trying to pass the buck. Or do you think it could have done with the corruption? Behind you always, Turtleboy. No, so we agreed to have it moved because we want to deal with the other issues first before we have an evidentiary hearing. I believe that was the reasoning. But no, it's not because of just that. But good question. Either way, I'm not afraid of the indictments. It's like, I know the indictments are coming. I would prefer not to be arrested. There's no need for it. But it's coming anyway. But anyway, I'll be looking fresh though. Every day at the bus stop, we'll be doing that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's why I go live every day. But if it happens, it happens. All that does is basically increase the penalty. It's just going to be more bullshit. And honestly, with these new developments, like, I'm significantly less worried about it because they should be a lot more worried than I am. My problems are temporary. Their problems are much longer than that, much more serious. And I'm innocent. I mean, that's when you get down to it. It's like, I'm allowed to do everything that I said. I don't care what the statute says. I don't care how you interpreted it. There's the First Amendment. It's federalism. That's what we've learned tonight. The federal government and the law of the land trumps whatever bullshit fucking law or whatever that your stupid state came up with about emotional harm. You can't cause emotional harm. Of course you can cause emotional harm. Cause emotional harm to anyone you fucking want to. Because it's America. You couldn't break up with your girlfriend if you couldn't cause emotional harm. It's nonsense. Okay, back to this. Any other turtle chats there? That's Fan. Cynthia sends $20 and says, recommending your book. Great read. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Hope you like the book too. And Cash App $10 from Catriona and says, happy. Well, thank you, Catriona. Appreciate that. If anyone else wants to donate, link is at the top, or you can Cash App me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. Let me read another quote here. From Morrissey. Boston 25 reported on the federal inquiry on Monday. A spokeswoman for Levy's office, Christina Sterling, declined to comment. We do not confirm or deny investigations. Morrissey said his office had not received formal notice from federal authorities about the investigation, but has provided Reed's lawyers with all communications with federal officials about the case. Yeah, you provided it to them, and then you had it impounded. You can't even go in the court. You go mass courts. It's not there. So what good is that? Why are you hiding it? So whatever they've given to Cameron Reed's attorneys, you can probably bet is really embarrassing for the district attorney's office, which is why anything they're impounded, they just don't want you to see. They're so corrupt, these people. They're so corrupt. And they don't care. They just don't care. Yeah, what else was I going to say here? Anything? Okay, cool. So that's basically it for that. Now, Court TV also did another segment today I want to show you real quick. And we'll end with this one. Let's watch this one.
Of Massachusetts in the Karen Reed case. The Boston Globe is reporting that the district attorney is saying he is mystified by the FBI's involvement,
mystified.
saying they don't have jurisdiction over a state murder trial. Reed, as you may know, is the woman accused of killing her cop boyfriend and then allegedly leaving him in the snow to die. But her defense claims that law enforcement officials are protecting the real killers.
I love how-
prompting an interest in the case by the FBI.
Like, I love how we did this goddamn protest. It's like, because every time they cover the case now, this is what's there. What does it say? Maura hates straight women. Okay. Okay.
Before we break this all down with my guest, Marie Pereira, let's take a look at the case against Karen Reed.
John O'Keefe was a good cop, and he was a good man. That's why my client was with him.
Karen Reed is accused of causing the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, after a night of heavy drinking. Prosecutors claim Reed backed her car into O'Keefe during a snowstorm and left him to die. But Reed's defense says the Commonwealth has it all wrong.
With each new piece of evidence that comes in, we're more and more convinced of my client's innocence.
O'Keefe's snow-covered body was found outside the home of another officer in Canton, Massachusetts. According to the prosecution's statement of the case, the couple was invited
I love the
to
music.
the
I
house
love the music.
after the bars in downtown Canton closed. Witnesses told investigators they last saw the couple at the Waterfall Bar and Grill. Others said they saw a black SUV resembling Reed's parked outside the house, but never saw O'Keefe come inside. Reed told investigators that she dropped him off at the after party and never heard from him again.
She went home to take care of the kids, and then she called him 49 times.
I didn't know that.
Where are
That's
you?
a lot.
Why aren't you back? She was the one to go back to that residence to look for him. She was the one to find him. She was the one to try and keep him warm and give him CPR and try and revive him.
But Norfolk
Yes.
County prosecutors question those actions. They claim voicemails and text messages detail strains in the relationship and the victim's desire to end their relationship, including a voicemail from the night he died in which Reed allegedly told O'Keefe that she hated him. Also, O'Keefe's niece and nephew who lived with him allegedly told police that the couple fought constantly about the relationship and breaking up before.
First of all, the kids told them that on February 22nd, after Jennifer McCabe had a good almost 4 weeks there to completely poison their minds with bullshit. That, you know, the mother figure that you had, she's actually a crazy killer. So yeah, you know, I hope those kids are probably too far gone at this point. Like, let's be honest. I do wonder how they'll react to this when the bad guys are indicted. I'm sure it's gonna be very confusing for them. They're obviously victims in this. They've been traumatized with the loss of their parents, and then with John, and then to find out that the people who then kind of took them in after that and made them feel part of the community, actually they killed John. So that's going to be a lot for them to process. But none of these people give a shit about kids. None of these people do. They all pretend to. Oh no, why are you going to kids games? Didn't see any kids there. I'm up with the grown-ups. But let's not pretend any of you fucks give a shit about kids. Like, Michael Proctor has 2 kids. Does he care at all that his actions could separate himself from those kids for most of their, like, you know, formative years, if not longer? No, he doesn't give a shit. Does Elizabeth Proctor care about that? No. Is she a good wife? A good wife in that situation? Be like, dude, can you stop covering this shit up? I need you around. We need 2 parents to raise these kids and shit. You can't, like, be committing crimes and going to federal prison. I can't visit you. You know, there's no conjugal visits. So, you know, who am I going to fuck when you're gone? Matt McCabe? What am I going to do? What's she going to do? Who's she going to, like, what do you want me to do? So anyway, goes on.
His death. Prosecutors point to a broken taillight on Reed's SUV, pieces of which were allegedly found near O'Keefe's body, to suggest she ran her car into him. A forensic pathologist opined that significant blunt force trauma injuries occurred prior to Mr. O'Keefe becoming hypothermic. Cuts and bruises were found on O'Keefe's head and arm.
Somebody being hit by a car, I would submit, does not look like they had been punched out by Mike Tyson. And the victim here looked like he had been punched out by Mike Tyson.
Reed's lawyer, David Yannetti, says his client is not responsible for O'Keefe's injuries.
I believe that the evidence shows that she didn't hit him. I've said in the past that his injuries are not consistent with being hit by a vehicle. And by the way, the Lexus taillight breaking, coming in contact with a human being and not a hard surface, makes no sense to me.
Yep.
I think it's going to make no sense to a jury.
If not Reed, who? Her lawyer says that there's a lot they still don't know.
This is a case where
I've never seen this footage.
The homeowner, being a Boston police officer, was treated differently than he would have been.
I'm guessing this is before we were involved, so the media was still there. I'm thinking this must be the June 2022 arraignment when she was indicted in Superior Court, because this looks like Norfolk and Dedham, and it looks like a nice day. So I'm guessing this, and Alan Jackson's not there yet. So I'm guessing, and the fact that the media is there is probably because she was being indicted on that day, I'm guessing.
If he were you or me.
A lot to talk about. Thankfully, Marie Pereira is still with me. All right, first of all, the public attention on this case, because it seems like you have two sides adamant. Number one, that Karen Reed killed her boyfriend, no question about it. And number two,
They're mostly Twitter trolls.
She didn't. It's a cover up. And a lot of the cops at the party did it. What are your thoughts?
I think her attorneys are doing an excellent job at defending her even before the trial begins, because there's certainly public support. And on top of it, they really do have evidence that would prove that she didn't do it. All I could remember is a photograph of the victim's arm with what looks like claw marks.
Yes.
Like dog,
From the dog.
right.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden the dog is not available. Everything else I'm saying maybe, but then when I think about that photograph, how would he get that?
Yeah.
Not from a motor vehicle.
Yeah, when they blew that arm up and put it on that thing, that's one of the most memorable things about the Karen Reed case during this whole time, was them holding up that placard in court. Anytime you Google John O'Keefe autopsy photos, that's the first thing that comes up. Not the actual autopsy photos, not the actual photos, but rather that image of the arm in court. It was such an effective way to get that message out. And this woman saw it and she's like, that's what I remember. I look at that, I can't explain it. Like, no one can explain that. Like they make fools of themselves when they say, like, oh, it's like abrasions or road rash, or you got it on the grass was sharp, or the snow was sharp that day, or how can you explain it? You can't. You can try, you can be like Kevin from Yellow Cottage Fails, but never go full Kevin. Never go full Kevin.
Striking him. So I think they're doing a great job.
I do too. And the 49 phone calls, I think that's significant, because I think if the person who did it called, it wouldn't be 49 times. To me, that's desperation. Where is he? 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 What happened?
Wait
What
till they
happened?
hear
What
the
happened? And
911
so
call.
I think that works in her favor too, potentially. Now, the other part of this is, the district attorney did state that he has offered to speak with the FBI, to speak with the U.S. attorney about this case because of the inquiry that they're doing. And according to him, they have not taken him up on that offer. Talk to us a little bit about inside baseball when it comes to law enforcement and different parties and political parties. And what do you think of this? Maybe they have talked, maybe they haven't.
Well, the state police wants to show, listen, we know what we're doing. We don't need you butting into our affairs, especially the FBI or any other source of jurisdiction. This was our police officer, our citizen in our state. So what makes you think that we're a bunch of Barney Fipes and we need you coming in?
Yep.
So there's always a testosterone thing going on, but I would ask them to be careful, because if all of these accusations are being made and other people want to help you, why don't you accept the help and be extremely transparent with defense? Give them whatever they want. If you have nothing to hide, then give them what they want to dispel the rumors and put them to rest before this thing goes to trial.
Brian Albert's
because
cell
it's
phone.
going to follow you with the jurors who are going to be from that venue. Watch out.
Because it's just like Greg Henning wasn't the only one who opposed Brian Albert's cell phone being handed over. The district attorney's office did. Like, why did they oppose the animal control records? What was the basis for that? Like, on what grounds would you oppose animal control records getting handed over?
Watch out. And optics are everything. I agree with you. The defense is doing a good job raising all of these issues. There are a lot of supporters for Karen Reed that have been very vocal, very public. But I think at the end of the day, no matter what, I don't think I would expect any district attorney's office to say, you're right, we're wrong, we're dismissing the charges. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you expect this is going to go forward against Karen Reed?
I think at this point, they're not going to be dismissing in the interest of justice. They're going to go forward, and then they are going to have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, especially because it was a law enforcement officer. They're not just going to say, we'll call it a day. They're not going to do that because it would be saying we were wrong from the beginning.
I agree with you. And I want to share now, before we go, today's thought from the bench. My opinion as a former judge, and I must share this with you, is listen, generally the FBI does not just step in when they don't have jurisdiction. And in fact, they do have jurisdiction for some special investigations, which can include, as I understand it, if there's a felony murder rather, against a law enforcement officer of a state. And so maybe that's the grounds under which they're stepping in, but you better be careful. And I agree from the bench, give them everything, cooperate fully. There's nothing to lose. At the end of the day, it's justice that all
there's a lot to
should
lose.
be seeking.
But that's a good point she made there. Like, they can intervene, because I guess if it's a law enforcement official that has been killed, that the feds do have the right to intervene in a murder investigation. So we'll see. A lot can happen. So we need to, believe me, this is changing everything. Now that it's on record, this changes a lot, man. Like, it's on record with Michael Morrissey himself that they are under federal investigation. This is unusual. This does not happen in legit investigations. It does not happen. It's a black eye, man. It's a horrible scar for the district attorney's office. We'll be bringing it up in my case, I'm sure. I would assume Karen Reed's case is going to bring it. I mean, the case should be paused. Both mine and Karen's should be paused until this is resolved. Because how can you know if any of the investigation itself is being investigated? So how can you move forward until that's resolved? How can you do it? You can't. You can't. So it's going to be fascinating to see. I'm not the least bit worried. Not even close. And that's what pisses off. That's what really gets to my detractors. They're like, he's worried about it. He's so worried about it. I'm not. I'm just not. So there's that. All right, we got a turtle chat here from Carrie. Sends $10 and says, I just laughed so loud my dog jumped. And they bitch at you for ragging on people. Morrissey's eyebrow, the focus of court TV. I am living for this. Keep your head up. I will do that, Carrie. Thank you very much. If anyone else wants to donate to the Turtle Chat, the link is at the top, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. I'll take some questions from the class now. If you guys have anything you want to talk to me about. Oh, the Glaire's in the house. Nice to see him. What do you say? And that's a big win for the defense when both yours and Karen. Yeah. Oh, totally. Okay. Anyone else have any other questions they want to ask me? Thank you, Dave's channel. I appreciate that. If a man dumps a woman who happens to be a witness in a case, is that emotional harm? Yeah, it is. And if she's too distraught to testify, then I got bad news for you, dude. You got to keep fucking her. You got to keep banging her. Because if you don't, that's witness intimidation. You got to do it, brother. Did Twisted Tragedies get arrested? Did she? I have no idea. She just stopped after I called her out. She just stopped. Disappeared, I have no idea if that's legit or not. I have no idea. I don't know much about that. Go check out Olivia Lambo's Twitter. She did a whole thread about that, about possibly being in airplane mode. It was a really good point that she made. That's why she's the best follow on Twitter. I did notice the green tie. I did notice that. Florida State did get fucked. I mean, it's just such bullshit. Such bullshit. I mean, they do at these. Everybody knows Alabama's a much bigger threat to Michigan than Florida State would be, but Florida State earned their way to get their ass kicked by Michigan. They earned that shit. So they should be in that game. Any word on Lizzie Proctor? Nope. Did Higgins take a proffer? Probably. No, the kids are not Karen Reed's kids. They're not John's kids either. They're John's sister's kids. And both of their parents died, and that's how John got custody of them. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have no idea who the targets are, who's not. I'm really interested to see, and we'll see what happens in the coming months. So, do you think Auntie Bev will change her tune? No. But we'll see. Maybe she's got her investigation too. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night. And we will see you guys, Turtle Club people. We'll see you on Thursday night. Everybody else, we'll see you Saturday night for the next episode of Turtleboy Live. Peace, Turtle Riders.